Okay, let's talk about Jordan Love, who I think people have kind of lost their minds about a little bit when discussing him, and so I wanted to kind of make a breakdown, talk about what I like about him, why I think there is potential for him to continue to improve as a player, but also what I don't like about him, and what I think he needs to improve upon, essentially, for him to be a star player, right? He's one of the top paid quarterbacks in the league. That's kind of how quarterback contracts work. But still, he is one of the top paid quarterbacks in the league, meaning for the Packers to really be more than just a playoff team, they need him to play at a top tier level, which he has shown flashes of. In fact, let's start off with a stat, which usually I don't love to do, but this is a really interesting stat to talk about with Jordan Love. I'm just going to use touchdown to interception ratio, but you could use other stats if you want to. Weeks 1 through 11 for his first 2 seasons as a starter, you see the stats are not ideal. 32 touchdowns is pretty good, but 21 interceptions, not ideal in that stretch. However, weeks 12 through 18, if you combine the past 2 seasons, 25 touchdowns to 1 interception. That's just absurd. I don't know what's going on there. People have found out that Toyotathon seemingly has been like a cutoff for him, where his numbers are weirdly really good during Toyotathon. That's almost certainly just a coincidence. That is just a coincidence. There's no chance that's not, but still, that's fascinating. But while the Toyotathon thing is probably just a coincidence, if you're a Packers fan, what you could argue with Jordan Love is, well, hey, first year was him kind of figuring out how being a starter works. Second year, he got injured early on, was playing through an injury through some of those games. It's not inconceivable that he got better in the second half of both years for logical reasons. But let's still dive into the film and talk about what I see when I watch him play. So first, let's just start off with this play. There is absolutely some really good stuff you'll see. Like, this play is actually a zone coverage concept. It's going to be a play action. Love takes a snap, and not a ton is going to get open on this play. Maybe he could try and force a throw here, but he doesn't want to do that, and I think that's the correct play. Love is absolutely capable of just using his athleticism to make high-level plays. Watch him here get around the pocket, and because he's a good runner, he's going to be able to actually pick up a first down on this play. He can do things like that, and I don't know how consistently, but pretty consistently, he can use his legs to make positives happen and make things work. And also just he is capable of making like throws that not a lot of players are capable of making. Like, the athleticism that he has, not just with his legs, but also with his arm, is really impressive, and maybe no better example than in that divisional round matchup against the 49ers, still to this day, the biggest game he's had of his so far short playing career. Love's going to take the snap. It's a 3rd down and 7. Packers are down 4 midway through the second quarter. They want more than just a field goal here. You see, he's going to scramble up. A lot of people think maybe you're just going to run here, but it'd be tough to get the first down. Instead, watch this just beauty of a throw. This is a ridiculously good play. And again, like, forget consistency. There are only a few quarterbacks who can make this play in general. Like, that could, if you gave them 50 tries, would hit it one time, right? Let alone being able to have any consistency. That being said, I brought up the word consistency a couple times already in this video. That is my biggest knock against Jordan Love. It's not like he's making these types of plays always. Like, we can go over to an example like this, and I want to be clear, this is going to be a tough play that I don't expect most quarterbacks to make. It's a man coverage concept. You see a route going more towards the sideline that could eventually get open and get some space. Love takes the snap, and there's going to be some heavy pressure right here. I mean, like, again, tough play. But we just saw him make a tough play, right? I just want to bring this up to show that it's not like he's consistently making tough plays all the time like you see Mahomes sometimes do. Here, Love is going to do what he can. It's not going to work out. And again, that's totally fine. But just, I want to paint the whole picture, right? He sometimes can hit those throws. He cannot always hit those throws. It's a thing that he has in his tool belt, but it's not something you're going to see him do every time. It's not a Josh Allen type scenario where it feels like he can do it 10 times in a row. I also want to go over here, and while some of the numbers do look impressive for Jordan Love, again, I have to just call it how I see it. I have to say what I see when I watch him on film, and a lot of times I do see Matt LaFleur doing a great job at scheming guys up. I think LaFleur is incredible, and I do give him a good chunk of the credit sometimes. Like a play like this, it's a zone coverage concept. You have a receiver running from the offense's left to the offense's right. As you see, Jordan Love runs this play action, and just look at how well this concept works. I mean, there is a receiver wide open. Again, you can't blame Jordan Love for this. Like, he's doing what he should be doing. He's throwing the ball to the right player, but inherently when you get enough plays like this, your numbers are going to look better than maybe what you deserve. It's why box score numbers can be misleading. It's really a team stat, not an individual stat. Passer rating, even touchdown to interception ratios to some degree, those are team stat things, not individual stat things. And again, Love, to his credit, makes a well accurate throw. They're able to get the ball there. Like he did everything right there. He deserves some credit for the play, but he probably doesn't deserve the credit he's going to get with a 25-yard passing play. But now I want to go over here because really, again, for the most part, I'm not really critiquing Jordan Love, right? I may be saying let's pump the brakes on certain aspects of his game, but there are a couple of just, I guess, nitpicks is probably the word. Like things that I think are, again, the way I view Jordan Love is I think he has shown flashes of being a top 10 quarterback, but he also just hasn't done that consistently enough. And one thing I think is holding him back from that right now and how he could enter that range is if he does, a play like this, where what's going to happen is it's a zone coverage concept. You have it's going to be Christian Watson that they're going to look towards going from the offense's left to the offense's right. Love takes the snap. He looks towards Watson. He's not using his eyes to look anyone off or anything, which is fine because this play is open. Christian Watson is someone he should throw to. I do sometimes see Jordan Love have a little bit of the holding on to the ball too long syndrome to try and let something get even more open. And hey, sometimes it works out, but like in a situation like this, I'm sorry, you gotta just make this throw now. This is wide open down the field. Instead, he waits too long trying to let it go until he gets past the next Lions player, but that takes way too long and he gets sacked instead. Again, when you're watching the broadcast, you're just going to say, oh, wow, Lions defensive line did a good job getting the Love, but they wouldn't have had time had Love gotten rid of the football earlier. So there are little things like that again, I do notice when I watch film, which is why I think I'm a little bit lower on him than other people are. And then also just like he misses throws sometimes. Like this play, this is not a difficult play, but this is one that you expect your quarterback to make. Love is going to take the snap. You see he pretty quickly just fires one and just lets the ball get away from him. It's a thing that happens. It is what it is. Again, I keep going back to the consistency thing with Love. I brought up the numbers earlier. We have seen him have great stretches. And like I said, if you're a Packers fan, you can talk yourself into, playing through an injury last year, was figuring it out the year before. But ultimately, inconsistency is not strictly an NFL thing. In fact, he was someone who was considered way too inconsistent when he got drafted. That's part of why he was a late first-round pick instead of an early first-round pick. But that being said, even though I'm being kind of critical of Love, I think I'm being critical in the sense of he's already getting a big contract. He is 26 years old. Today, I do not put him too high on the quarterback rankings because of my issues with him. But 26 is not a finished product. I mean, we've seen Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold have these, resurgent careers late into their career when they're older than Love, and they had a lot more playing time prior to this. Quite frankly, I think I will change my opinion either in a positive or negative way after this next season on Jordan Love once you get more information. The book is still very much not yet written on Jordan Love. The jury is still out. We're still deciding this stuff. So that's why I am a little bit more critical of him right now and probably don't put him as high on my quarterback rankings as other people will. But I do understand why people are willing to kind of overlook some of my issues, because there is still some really good stuff in there with Love, and if you can just get the consistency down a little bit better, I do think he has potential to grow, and I do think my bet would be he does get at least somewhat better. The question is just how much. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.